So there's a number sitting in a report that basically nobody in the freelancing conversation is thinking correctly about. And that number is 44.
I'm thinking I might go with the bagels and lox.
No, I haven't even looked yet. AI skilled freelancers on the major platforms are charging 44% more per hour than freelancers who haven't adapted. And in specific categories, the rate jumps closer to 60%, which is, not nothing. Now, every influencer on the internet is using numbers like that to say the same thing. Go learn AI and you're gonna be just fine. That advice is gonna wreck a meaningful percentage of the people who follow it, if they take it at face value.
Wait, why?
Because here's what they don't mention when that 44% stat gets brought up.
The magic number?
Traditional freelancing paths are simultaneously disappearing. I mean, just writing jobs alone are down over 30% on the major platforms. Entry-level creative work has, in large categories, collapsed. There are things that used to be legitimate freelancing streams that are, let's not sugarcoat it, gone.
I should be writing some of this down.
We're recording it.
All right.
So who exactly is making the 44% more, and who's watching their income fall off a cliff? My team and I did some digging, and the answer's probably not what you're expecting. Quick note before we get into it. If you're new here, hi, I'm Jamie. 16 years freelancing, built a community of roughly 1 million freelancers on social media. We've got a freelancing program with over 1,000 members in it. We're all building our businesses together. Hit subscribe if this stuff is useful. Freelancing isn't easy. You chose a path for yourself that's challenging, but it's one that's going to reward you with the life that a lot of people dream of, but never really bother to reach for, to put themselves up against that challenge. I can't walk through the fire for you, but I can walk through it with you, and that's what we're doing here. I'm just sharing what's worked for me and what I've observed both in my career and in the career of all the freelancers that we're talking with. So let's get into it. Let's get this out of the way first. I'm no journalist. I'm not a trends analyst, but I am watching this disruption play out across 1,000 different businesses in dozens of different niches.
Drink.
What?
It's this game I started to do where every time you say disruption in one of these videos, you drink.
I don't have anything to drink.
No, yeah, people watching do, Jamie. Just keep going.
Niches like video, design, copywriting, social media strategy, development, all of it. Different markets, different offer types, different stages of building. So I'm not going to tell you that AI isn't something that you don't need to take action on. It is probably the biggest disruption that's happened in the history of freelancing.
Drink.
What I'm trying to give you here is an accurate picture of what's actually happening, not a bunch of platitudes, because the real picture is actually far more interesting and more actionable than either of the narratives that you're getting right now. The market is splitting hard between two groups, right? And the gap between them is widening every month. And this whole thing is about understanding that chasm clearly enough so that you wind up on the right side of it.
Can I have my keys back?
No. Let me give you the bad news first.
Yeah, rip off that Band-Aid.
The floor of the freelance market has dropped. So if your business is built on like entry-level, volume-based work, so first drafts, line cuts, commodity content, a lot of that is gone. It's not threatened by AI, it's gone, eradicated by it. AI does it faster, cheaper, and in most cases, well enough that clients can't identify a quality gap at that tier. There are niches that used to pay well enough to build a career on that are now just gone.
Okay, but AI can never replace human creativity.
Love that energy.
Thanks.
But it also doesn't matter. Because clients were never buying creativity to begin with. They're buying solutions to problems, right? And the freelancers who can least afford to be misled, the ones that are selling tasks and commodities, are the ones that are taking that message as gospel. Here's what is true. The ceiling has shot up. Those 44% rate increases are real. The 40, 50, 60% jumps in certain categories are real. Some freelancers are having the best years in their entire careers specifically because of AI, not in spite of it. So the big question worth asking at this point is, what separates one group from the other? Here's the simplest answer I can give you. Execution got commoditized and judgment got a raise. If what you're selling is the ability to produce a thing, like write a draft, edit a video, you're selling execution. And AI is good at execution now. Not by any means. There are exceptions to that rule, but it's good enough that clients are starting to do the math and decide that the savings outweigh the quality gap at that tier. Judgment is something completely different. Judgment is knowing when the brief is wrong, knowing when the client's first guess or their instinct is going to cost them 6 months, knowing which of a handful of perfectly valid strategies fit this brand at this moment in time for this specific objective. So basically knowing what questions to ask that the client hasn't thought to ask themselves or wouldn't even know to ask. You can't prompt your way to that. And the smart clients with the real money to spend know the difference. I've had dozens of conversations in our community about this. The pattern is emerging. The freelancers who always focused on strategy over execution are seeing their retainers increase. Clients have been burned already at this point by AI generated content. It's all starting to sound like everybody else in the industry. They want the freelancers who can actually understand the space. So let me make this concrete, because judgment sounds like a fluffy concept, and I don't consider myself a purveyor of fluffy concepts. So there's a term called tacit knowledge. It's the stuff that you know but can't fully articulate. It's the instinct that's built from years of doing something and then being wrong and then adjusting, doing it again, being wrong again, adjusting again, and developing a feel for what works. A surgeon who's done 3,000 operations knows things in their hands that, a textbook's just not going to be able to teach. A great editor can watch, why am I pointing to myself when I say that? A great editor can watch 30 seconds of rough cut footage, know exactly what's missing. And half of what they know, these mysterious great editors of lore, lives in their gut, not in a framework that exists anywhere that they've written down.
Ugh. Any video editors watching just love that you compared them to a surgeon.
AI has no tacit knowledge, all right? It has pattern recognition across massive data sets, which is genuinely impressive and useful. But it can't tell you when to break the pattern. It doesn't have the scar tissue that teaches you why the standard answer is maybe wrong for this particular brand or this particular use case. And there's another way to think about this. Every time that a client brought on a freelancer who's been doing this for 10 years, they were paying for the judgment that came out of all that time, not just the thing. The compressed wisdom, the pattern recognition that can't be fully documented. AI can simulate the output of that experience on the surface level, but it can't reproduce what caused that experience in the first place.
The fact that you're thinking about this shows you're really enterprising. The volume of generic AI-generated content in the market right now has quietly increased something like 9 times in certain categories. 9 times. Which means clients, competitors, agencies, everyone is producing content that quietly looks like it came from the same machine. Because it did. That's not X, that's Y. Same rhythms, same frameworks, same vaguely professional sentences that don't actually say anything specific.
Which makes genuine specificity, a real point of view, scarce.
Well, AI can get pretty specific too. Don't check my search history or anything. Hey, you can edit this part out, right?
I had someone describe it to me recently as reading their own brand's Wikipedia page. Technically accurate, comprehensive, but somehow devoid of anything that they'd actually wanted to say. They couldn't fully articulate why it felt wrong, but it was, and that's the new market, that discomfort. So you see, if you're operating at the judgment level, you're not competing with the tech, you're leveraging it. Real quick pause here. Could you drop a comment below and tell me what you're seeing on your end? Is this split showing up in your niche? Are clients bringing up AI on calls? Are you already repositioning, or are you in the process of figuring out where to start? let's do a little market research together. I read through all these. We're going to use them to dictate further content on this subject matter and others.
Here's where I say the thing that's going to bother some people.
Most of the AI advice being directed at freelancers right now is wrong. Not malicious, wrong. In a sounds reasonable until you follow it off a cliff kind of way. The advice is, use AI to become more efficient, M-. Do more work in less time. Increase your output. Take on more clients. And I get the appeal, M-. If I can produce 4 articles in the time it used to take me to write 1, I should make 4 times the income, right? No. Here's exactly why. Whoa.
The moment you decide to make your offer using AI to produce more of the same thing at the same rate, you've signaled to the market that your price is tied to output volume. It's great that now one person can do 10 times the output. But that can't be the whole thing, because if your price is tied to output volume, you've entered a race that you cannot win. Whatever you can produce with AI, the next version of AI produces more of, faster and cheaper. You're permanently in second place in that race. I've watched this happen with folks in our community. They get excited about the efficiency gains. Who wouldn't? They take on twice as many clients. Income goes up for a few months. And then the client says, this is starting to feel a little generic. Or a client tries using AI directly and realizes that the gap is smaller than they thought, and the whole thing starts to unravel. Think about it from the client side too. If you're a small business owner who suddenly has access to AI that can design first draft marketing copy, do you still need a copywriter for the draft? Maybe not. But to figure out what the copy should actually say, who it should be talking to, why the funnel isn't converting, when the whole approach is off. Yeah. Here's a bit of history for you. When power tools came along, carpenters didn't start charging less because they could do more in less time. The skilled ones charged more because they could deliver better outcomes. So the tools made them more capable, not cheaper. Or think about lawyers. Legal software got incredibly powerful over the last 10, 15 years. Document templates, research tools, contract automations. You can do things now with software that used to require billable attorney hours. Now, have attorneys gotten cheaper? I mean, some of them did. The ones who were doing document production did. But the ones providing strategic counsel, navigating advising on complex situations with real stakes, their rates went up. Better tools have historically never made professionals in expertise-based fields cheaper. They've sorted out who was actually the expert, providing access to resources.
Where do you think Ally McBeal falls in all of this?
I've actually never seen Ally McBeal.
I don't think anyone has. Remember the dancing baby?
Yes.
That's all I know about Ally McBeal.
All right, practical.
Finally.
Here's something I want you to actually do. I'm calling it a judgment assessment. Get a piece of paper or open a doc, draw a line down the middle. Left column is execution, right column is judgment. Go through everything that you do for a particular client on any given project and separate each thing into one of those 2 columns. Execution would be drafting, producing, building, formatting, creating variations, anything that AI could technically do. And then judgment would be diagnosing what the client actually needs versus what they asked for. Knowing when the strategy is off, knowing which direction to push when there are 12 perfectly viable options. My battery died. But I was getting at basically asking questions that the client wouldn't know to ask themselves. Now, ask yourself, which column are you leading with when you pitch? If you're a copywriter pitching 5 emails a week, that's execution. I work with B2B SaaS companies to find out where their trial to paid conversion is leaking, and I fix it with an onboarding sequence. That's judgment. The writing is how you deliver the judgment, but the judgment is how you deliver the return. If you're a designer pitching brand identity packages, it's like logos, colors, font types, what have you, execution. But if you're pitching, hey, I help early stage consumer brands look like they belong on the shelf with their competitors, that's judgment. If you're a video editor.
The surgeon of the freelance world.
if you're a video editor, pitching 3 videos a week, fast turnaround. Execution. If you're pitching, I work with founders to turn their talking head videos into actual impressions and conversion. Hey, that's judgment. And if you're a strategist or a consultant, which honestly, most of the best freelancers are already becoming, then that gap is even more obvious. Execution looks like a deck or a report or competitive analysis. Judgment is sitting in the room with the founding team and saying, hey, your real problem isn't what you think it is. And here's how I know, and here's what we're going to do about it. You can't automate that conversation. You have to know to have it. Same skills across all of those different examples, completely different value prop. One opens the door to a price negotiation, the other to a partnership. Most freelancers lead with execution and then hope that the client just infers the judgment piece. And then they wonder why every conversation finds its way to price. Of course it comes down to price. You opened up with a commodity. The repositioning is uncomfortable because you have to claim that expertise out loud. You have to mean it when you say, here's what I know that you can't get from a prompt. But that discomfort is exactly why it's going to create separation from you and your competitors. Most of your competition isn't willing to go there.
Speaking of discomfort, does this seat move back?
No, but it's got good lumbar. I think you're as far back as it can be.
Which cheek is the lumbar?
3 moves. First, the AI content flood is your moat, not your threat. I know that sounds backwards, so let me explain. Your clients are watching their competitors pump out generic, indistinguishable creative right now. Some of them have tried AI themselves and have gotten output that's like technically fine, but feels hollow somehow. They can't always articulate why, but they know something's missing. That discomfort is your opening. Name it on a sales call. Hey, yeah, you can get 100 technically correct versions from a prompt, but I put together the thing that actually sounds like your company. That's something that has a real point of view. You're the solution to the problem that AI generated. Second, I know a lot of business leaders are saying that they won't hire any freelancers without demonstrated AI fluency. Most people in the space are reading that as go learn prompting. But the actual read is significantly deeper than that. Because what those business leaders are actually saying is, I need someone who understands this landscape well enough to make good decisions in it. Someone who doesn't flinch when AI comes up, who knows what AI decisions are actually going to work well for the business versus which ones are going to hurt it. Because here's what that looks like on a real call.
Oh. Hold on.
What are we doing?
Here, just take this. Ring, ring. Hello, I am a business leader looking for a freelancer with AI fluency.
A business leader who says that they're looking for a freelancer with AI fluency isn't necessarily looking for someone to build them a ChatGPT workflow. They're often looking for someone who can sit across from them and say, hey, here's where AI is useful in your business, and here's where using it wrong is going to cost you. That's a conversation. That requires experience and judgment about both the technology and their specific situation. You can't prompt that conversation. You have to know how to have it.
Hello? Hello?
I don't want to play.
Jamie.
Know your tools. Use them. Third, and this is the biggest reframe I got for you. AI is not a tax on your business. AI is a tax on freelancers who are only ever selling execution. And it's a raise for the ones who are always selling judgment. That's it. 2 outcomes. The market is repricing right now. It's actively sorting out who's worth more in a world where execution is abundant. And that sorting is happening, whether you care about it or not, whether you do anything about it or not. You don't get to opt out by ignoring it. And the freelancers who are most scared of AI right now are in a lot of cases the ones who are building their businesses on output and volume and just hoping nobody noticed. So the repricing is real, and for some people that's going to feel like a loss, because it is. But for the ones who are always bringing real expertise, real perspective, real professional instincts to the table, the market is catching up to what that was worth. Finally, let me close this out. Two wrong stories are dominating the freelancing conversation about AI. Story one, it's going to replace freelancers and this whole thing is over. The jig is up. Story two, it's just a tool. Don't overthink it. Creative work is irreplaceable. Relax. Both narratives are missing what's actually happening. AI has separated execution from judgment at scale. It's made the commodity layer of creative work cheap and abundant, and in doing so, it made actual professional expertise, the kind built over years of real work, real mistakes, real pattern recognition, more valuable than it's probably been since the gig economy started. The freelancers who end up on the right side of that 44% split are the ones who decided that execution is the delivery mechanism, not the product. The product is what you know. The product is what happens to a client's business because they worked with you specifically. That's what you're selling. Everything else is just how you're delivering it. The 44% raise is real. It's not going to freelancers who produce more output faster. It's going to the ones who understood what they were actually selling and positioned around it before everyone else caught on. You do the judgment audit, you find your right column, you rewrite how you pitch around that. And you stop letting the discomfort of claiming your expertise keep you from charging for what you've actually spent years building. That's the whole thing. That's how you build from this disruption.
Drink.
If you want to go deeper on how to build your freelance business and what all this stuff looks like out in the real world, I linked a video here that future me determined would be the next best thing for you to watch. I have no idea which video I chose, but it should be popping up on your screen right now. I trust that future me has chosen wisely. So I'll see you over there.